Hello there.
How are you?
Hi. I'm fine, thank you. Good morning. Good morning from the UK.
Yeah, Janet, welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2025.
Sorry, I can't hear.
Yeah, before going to the session, I would like to introduce you to our audience, Janet.
Right, okay.
Yeah, Dr. Janet Young emphasizes the importance of personal intelligence in a world marked by constant change. Through research focused on entrepreneurs, small businesses, she offers key insights into how individuals can better understand and manage their experience. And she advocates a shift towards more human-centered, non-linear approaches to leadership. With a background as a senior academic in the UK universities, she now works as a coach and author. And she publications include her leadership resilience in the digital age and personal knowledge capital, reflecting her ongoing passion for personal development and consciousness. That was a great bio, Janet, and the stage is yours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh dear, I'm not sure where I am. Hello everyone. Sorry for the late start here. I'm just here to share some insights with you. But first of all, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. I wanted to share something about personal resilience with you today. I'm speaking from the UK. It was a research study I did with small business entrepreneurial leaders. I wrote this up in a book called Leadership Resilience in a Digital Way. I think it's already been introduced, actually. And what I want to do is just share with you some of my insights only on the personal resilience. So let's move forward. Where are we? We talk about the impact of change, and it's described as VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguity. But quite honestly, right at this moment, it's just so intense. We can hardly breathe, all of us. So we're talking about the impact at the moment of environmental changes, with regards to weather patterns. We're talking about the introduction of artificial intelligence and new technologies, everything that's changed. And right now, everything to do with these sort of global leaders, and all the things that are happening on a daily basis. And quite honestly, we can't breathe, all of us. So understanding and maybe thinking a little bit about personal resilience and how you might tackle this and plan for it is a good idea. Right this moment, we all need it. So I want to differentiate between individual personal resilience, which is what I'm talking about today, versus organizational resilience, which is right across the organization. So we're just looking at what leaders said, small business entrepreneurial leaders said about individual personal resilience. So this is what I'm sharing with you. I think it's a mind, body, and spirit approach. So the perspective is mind, body, and spirit, and it's integral. It's all of it. So we're going to look a bit further. So what is personal resilience? Well, I think it's an intelligence we can acquire. So I'm sort of saying to you, well, if you've got emotional intelligence and you can learn emotional intelligence, I think you can think about and learn personal resilience. So I've called it PRQ, just so that we understand. Well, personal resilience, it's a mystery. It unravels. It's different to all of us. We're all affected at different points by different levels of resilience, in actual fact. But how do we deal with that adversity? How elastic are we? How can we bounce back or bounce forward quickly in all of this? It's both, positive and emotional, but whatever, we all have different backgrounds, so it's unique to all of us. It's all very unique. I do have to say, the first thing you need to do is put your mask on. It's really important. It's just a metaphor. Like when you're on a plane and you're flying on a plane, they say, put your mask on first. And that's what you need to do. So in other words, save yourself first. You can't help someone else if you've run out of oxygen. So you can't help yourself if you're not well. So if you're suffering too much. So first of all, put your mask on. So I think that goes as a first port of call. Okay, here is a quote from one of my creative digital entrepreneurial leaders. And I thought it was quite powerful. So I thought I'd mention this to you. He said, "You don't know what resilience is until you've hit the wall. And everybody can go, yeah, I'm resilient. Really? Are you? How will you deal with that?" It's a bit like asking someone to go and deal with a close death. Until it happens, you've no idea. And then it knocks you sideways. You can prepare yourself, but you know what? It's nothing like the reality. And I think we have to go much, much deeper to get sustainability. So there was lots of quotes, but this was just one. And this leader was describing it linked to a close death. So I thought, wow, that is really, really powerful. And we really need to think about this area of personal resilience in a deeper level. Okay, so personal resilience is both external and it's internal. So we have to go out to reach out and we have to go within. So it's two main elements, in and out. All right, so these were some of the strategies, some of the psychology and strategies for personal resilience. They're all intermixed. It's connection, it's mind and emotions, and it's well-being. And so we've got three main areas, and I'm just going to talk to you and go through and talk to you about each one. Okay, the first step is connection. It's via conversation and dialogue. It's open up to have a conversation, reach out to someone, open up. But it's quite important that this person is a confidant, someone you really trust. So that is very important. It's about sharing those internal mental models, those thoughts you have with someone else that enables you to reframe those ideas that you have. So your first port of call is reaching out, finding a trusted person to do that. And if it's something very, very personal, you need to open up and be very vulnerable. So that it's a really important thing to think about who you would go to with all of that. So it's sharing. Find someone to share with, and it can be that it's an array of people that you have around you, that you've met and that you know that for this particular issue, I go to this person. For this issue, I go to that person. So you build something around you to do that. Now, when you're reaching out to bounce these ideas off, you need to do it with critical friends. So that's someone who gives you frank conversation, like they're really honest. It's a frank exchange as you get feedback from them, not someone who just says yes, no, and tries to be all nice. It's a frank exchange. It's critical feedback. It might be from a board member, or it could be from these other friends or people that are trusted others, let's call it, that you've built around you. It can be formal and informal. Now, I come from the UK, so we have pubs and people go down and chat down in the pub. So some entrepreneurs talked about going to the pub, and others, it was, a meeting in a cafe, for instance. But these conversations are formal and informal. In fact, the most highly prized meetings can often be the informal, and certainly informal when you're talking about opening up and having conversation about very important issues and frank exchanges. Well, my question for you is, who do you go to? Who do you go to? Have you sorted that out? Can you think? Have you begun to think about creating that network around you, finding the confidentiality, knowing who you can trust, and who would give you that really frank exchange? Right. So that was the first step. Now, the second step that I want to talk about is thinking about positivity in psychology. It's called positivity. Started from about 2010. It's a whole area in itself. So obviously, I can't talk about that in depth here. I put a little model called the PERMA model there, but it's about all the little tactics you can use to be positive. Like at the end of the day, thinking positively about what went right, rather than what went wrong. Where's the positive in what we're doing? But it's much more, it's deeper than that, obviously. The other one I was bringing in was emotional intelligence, and that is also part of this. So developing your emotional intelligence, it's learned behavior, self-awareness, self-motivation, empathy, social skills, all of that. But the one I think is incredibly important is self-awareness, because self-awareness really links to that resilience. How aware of you are you of your own triggers that you might have? So being self-aware of what's right for you, not anyone else, but for you. All right, I can't go into each one, so I'm just passing it quickly. The next part of this second step was having an agile mindset. It was thinking fast failure. Now that's really important for an entrepreneur, because instead of thinking everything's going to go smoothly and nothing's going to happen, you have to think fast failure. It's going to happen. So you're expecting fast failure, and that helps with an agile mindset. Helps you to be agile rather than stuck. It's the work of Eric Ries. He's very famous for his work on fast failure and lean startup. The other one I'm thinking of is the inner game of tennis. It's that inside your head when you bat backwards and forwards about what's happening. So thinking inner game of tennis, Galway, and then find them just saying, think like an Olympian. Olympians plan everything in advance, and also they visualize. So if you want something to happen, the idea that you could visualize it in is important. So fast failure, learning from those mistakes quickly and moving on, that's bounce back. So that's resilience. So fast failure mindset and Olympian thinking in particular come to mind. Okay, this is the third step of that little model I gave. This is well-being. So preventive physical activity. So my entrepreneurs talked about a whole range of things they did. running, walking, swimming, cycling, gym, yoga, cricket even. So getting some physical activity in, making sure it's in the diary. It's not just in your head. You do it. It de-stresses you. Very important part of well-being. So they were talking about all the things that they were doing, and all of them are important, but it's unique to you. You have to decide what would be best for you. So that's part of your plan. The next one, they talk about relaxing activities. You know, it could just be walking in nature, but being mindful, relaxing through cooking. Someone talked about, she talked about spending the morning just doing cooking. She found it really relaxing. It can just be in the garden, pottering around. So whatever works for you, these relaxing, quite therapeutic ideas. Okay, so this is very important. It's quiet space, finding your quiet space. Where will that be? Is it in the house somewhere? Or is it outside? Is it in the park? Is it beside the beach? Is it in the woods? Actually, we need to have I think we need to have quiet space in our own home, actually. So allow time for quiet space, allow time for introspection, time to switch off, rejuvenate, time to get to be with yourself, align with your greater self, space to breathe. It's all about inner listening. The listening is very important. And intuition and knowingness. Now, one of my entrepreneurs talked about always using gut feel. They were not using all the rational models and ways of thinking. No, they were making decisions on gut feel. So they were very linked to their intuition and knowingness. Now, I call that knowledge creation. The likes of other people might call it presencing. Sharma calls it presencing. I think it's similar. He talks about listening very carefully as you go down into self. But this is about reconnecting with self. Very, very important. So personal resilience, external, going out in conversation, but then going within, finding out what's right for you. So again, it's unique. My question is, do you have somewhere to go? Is there some space for you to go to? Have you worked that out? What's right for you? I know what I do in the mornings, but what do you do in terms of this? Okay. The other issue here was preventive wellness and therapeutic activities. This was about mindfulness and meditation. Wow. Again, that's a topic on its own. But think about the health benefits we get. It lowers the blood pressure when you do meditation. In fact, I went to something yesterday morning and my blood pressure was much lower. As it happened, I had it taken. So mindfulness and meditation techniques were used by these small business entrepreneurs. Yoga was used to, again, keep calm, reconnect with self. So again, it's about going within. Listening to mindful apps was another one. Going to the spa, taking time out, go to the spa to relax. Putting that in the diary, making sure it was all scheduled in the diary. This is time for me. I need time out. And then some people talked about going on a retreat, respite, taking a few days away, having like respite, time out. When it was necessary, they said they did this. So really important. All of this is important. All right, so coming to the end now, a couple of other things I think is important is music. I mean, music for the spirit. So mind, body, spirit. Here's the music. Uh, they use it in hospitals. They have music with babies in hospitals. They even have it for the dying. They use music to calm down. Think Mozart. So it's a really important element. It's small compared to everything else, but it's a really healing element. And then we've got humor. The yogis had a great sense of humor. They did laughter yoga and brought it in because yoga, humor is a de-stressor. It really helps to release stress and just help you calm down. So I wanted to put that under there just so that we have an understanding of all of that. All right, so finally, I just want to say, really wrapping it up, personal resilience. Personal resilience is an intelligence you can learn, I think. It's mind, body, and spirit. You have to, if you can think about these three areas: connection, the mind and psychology, and the well-being. And remember that it's unique to you, not to anyone else, but unique to you. And so you need to apply and think of a plan to apply it. I think you should be using your diaries to make sure this is all in. But it's interesting to hear what these entrepreneurs think. What are they doing? What do they think is important? And some of this was coming straight from them. Some things surprised me. But this is just one element of what I looked at. So today I can't do everything. So I just focused on this one. And then finally, when I wrote this up, the leader emerged as a digital sage. So the digital sage had all the creativity. They were the journeyer on a journey. They were the calm leader. They were the authentic leader. They used different styles. I called it the golfer of leadership when appropriate. And all of that. So, yeah, they were the diplomat, for instance. They were ethical. And I think this is really important. We have to keep our ethics. There are so much not good leadership at the moment. Then I don't think we should lower ourselves down to anyone else's ways of operating. We stick to our authenticity in leadership. So this was the calm leader, very calm, deep and calm, and into presencing, into going within, into knowledge creation. Feeling that resilience was from a deep, calm place. And we're all sort of looking for that to reconnect with our real selves, our authentic self, and bring that out. So we're all doing our bit in the world at the moment. So thank you for listening. I think I'm opening it for questions now. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you. Right.
Hello.
Yes, Dr. 𝐞𝐻𝐿, thank you for your presentation. We are so grateful for your presence here. And we have a few questions from our audience. I would like to ask you one. Yeah. What roles does self-awareness play in the cultivating personal resilience intelligence?
Sorry, I can't hear anything.
What role does self-awareness play in cultivating personal resilience intelligence?
Well, I've got a question here that I've been given, so I think it's similar, so I think I'll answer this one. It was what surprising insights about personal resilience come from your study, which I've been given previously, on small business entrepreneurs? Well, I just want to highlight this because actually, when I did these interviews, I saw people in tears, so it was really amazing. I wasn't expecting that. So I obviously touched on something, a sensitive topic. No one had asked them anything to open up. One entrepreneur, I think I've mentioned it, talked about using gut feel for their decision making. Now, this was a millionaire. I wasn't expecting that. I thought, wow, they're using gut feel. They were really deeply into their knowingness or presencing, as you might say. So that was another one. And then there were people using mindfulness and meditation, yoga. And I was like, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting to see so much of this here in the UK, up in the north. And someone mentioned, this was interesting, someone mentioned suicide. They said people, when they're very stressed, what they should do is detach themselves so the personal and the business are not the same. So if you go down in the business, the personal is completely separate. They're not the same two things. So it's like, don't link failure, because the business of failure, you're not a failure. And that came out. I thought, wow, that was an interesting one. And another one that was very interesting was one said, if I lost everything, I would just start doing charity work and I'd start again and it's all fine. And then I'd be giving back and I'm happy. So that was another wow.
Thank you. Thank you, Janet, for your wonderful answer. Yeah. Please take the backstage and join the next session.
Okay. Thank you and bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.